was really good at my sport. Graduated with a scholarship to UBC. Since day one, it wasn't my bread and butter, but I'm sure you know, having Middle Eastern parents, like they're so liberal as long as you're a doctor, lawyer, engineer, right? Stuff like my grandma's like, I hope to see you in that white coat before I pass away. I said, oh, are you serious? You put that pressure on yourself. You have the family, you obviously care about their and respect their opinions a lot. And that's when I first was like, dude, like, I cannot do this. Good part about that is when you're at rock bottom, you can only go up, right? Switch flipped in me. I was like, enough's enough. I'm like gonna take my life into my own hands. Not really gonna like do anything for anyone else. I'm not gonna be in university. I'm not gonna try to be a doctor. I'm not fit for that. Why not you? That's the first thing. Then instills the self-belief. If you focus for a long enough period of time, you will eventually get somewhere. You become great first. The world realizes it after. Every single day what you do is what makes you great. I quit my 9-to-5 job just to fucking work for myself for 14 hours a day or something. Kind of how it is. You just have to make the most of it. Like, figure out something that you want to do, that you're passionate about. Just work hard at it. Greatness is inevitable. It's kind of what I want to be.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode. Today we have Daniel Shokohmoayed,
Yes, sir. Happy to be here, Sadra.
a friend and an entrepreneur. How are you, brother?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Doing good, bro. Doing good. So initially, I'm actually not fully clear how do we know each other, but we just
Yeah, I mean, like, so I've seen a couple of your podcasts. First off, I know Parsa pretty well now. I've hung out with him a couple times. Amir is like a longtime friend as well, and I think through there, man, it was I may have you sent me a LinkedIn outreach. I think you were trying to sell me on something, and I was like, you know what? This is dope. Like, not a lot of people have the balls to like reach out and do something. I'm like, well, I don't need your service, but we just got back and forth talking through there, hopped on a call, and then hopped on the pod after that. We went through a couple messages, but now we're here, man.
yeah, beauty, bro. I see you grinding. You are. It's like not the conventional route that you're going, which is very respectable. Not too many people have the balls to do that.
Yeah. I think entrepreneurship is just not the conventional route. It's a little bit cooler nowadays, right? And I started it like the online Wi-Fi money, laptop money kind of stuff, like when it was cool. But I've never thought of it as like conventional, right? I think it's still pretty conventional to go to high school, go to university, get a job, and to once they're on, like that's obviously like amazing. Like if that brings you fulfillment, I think that's like all you need in life. But yeah, it wasn't my route, and I had to stand my ground, make a decision, and do what I wanted to do.
100%. So, for viewers that don't know your story, can you just like talk to us from the beginning, like when you graduate high school and
Yeah,
how you
yeah.
build it here?
So to add a little bit of color to the situation, to start in high school, I was a somewhat, and this I feel like a lot of like online money guys or like business owners, entrepreneurs are, but like I was a somewhat successful like student athlete, at least at a local level. And so like I had great grades, and I was really good at my sport. Graduated with a scholarship to UBC. Man, I don't know, since day one, it wasn't like my bread and butter, but I'm sure you know, having Middle Eastern parents, like they're so liberal as long as you're a doctor, lawyer, engineer, right? So I was like, okay, like stuff like my grandma's like, I hope to see you in that white coat before I pass away. I said, oh, are you serious? Like, so like you put that pressure on yourself. You have the family, you obviously care about their and respect their opinions a lot. I get into university, first year's okay, second year COVID hits. And once COVID hits, and at that point, you're not even in school, man. You're in front of a laptop. You're sleeping late, waking up your laptop with one eye, attending a lecture, closing it, going back to sleep, doing whatever you want to do. And that's when I first was like, dude, like, I cannot do this. Like, I genuinely can't do that. I feel so unfulfilled, so depressed. I was taking like drugs here and there. I was partying, just like gained a lot of weight, not taking care of myself. And as a byproduct of the degeneracy, I also got into like crypto and gambling and stuff like that, which was actually funny enough, like a step in the door to like doing laptop money activities. I did like sneaker flipping and like mowing lawns door to door and stuff before that, but yeah, so I made a lot of money in crypto and online gambling, and I then lost even more money. So then I was like fat, depressed, broke, right? And I was like, okay, like Like I'd just gotten out of like a relationship too. Everything was trending down, but like the good part about that is when you're at rock bottom, you can only go up, right? Dude, like it's just like a switch flipped in me. I was like, enough's enough. I'm like gonna take my life into my own hands, not really gonna like do anything for anyone else. I'm not gonna be in university. I'm not gonna try to be a doctor. I'm not fit for that. And I to this day, I'm extremely blessed to have this as a part of my situation. But my cousin is an extremely successful venture capitalist. It's a portfolio of companies. I'm like, dude, give me something. Like, I want to do business. I don't know what it takes. I don't know what it looks like. Just give me an opportunity. I promise you it'll be like the best decision that CEO or founder's ever made. I go to him, he gives me a job, commission only, like business development rep, right? So like outreach, like cold email, like I have to learn Apollo, stuff like that. From there, startup grows rapidly. I was one of the first employees. It was valued at closer to like $30 million. And after 2 years of killing it, and I quit. Then the next thing hit me. I was like, I can't be an employee. Okay, cool. But now I have a skill set. Now I have something to work off of. So I reached out to the only other guy I knew from high school, which is now my co-founder, Merrick Van Bylen, and was like, dude, you know what? Like he was drop shipping or he doing e-commerce with like mouse pads at the time. I was like, dude, this is awesome. And from there, he prompted to go out for the coffee. And the rest was history, man. We just did so much stuff with video that we like landed our first client randomly, which was like his like brother's coach. And then from there, like we signed like a big media company in like the UK randomly. We're super unqualified to do so. Every moment from that point on has just been like super just growth, learning, like getting better, getting bigger, like getting more, but getting better because of it, right? And now we're here. That's a pretty long-winded way of telling my story, but like I feel like that kind of puts all the dots together.
So yeah, that's pretty awesome. There's a bunch of questions that come arise to my mind naturally. First, what was your high school? What's your sport in high school?
It was basketball. Basketball guy. Basketball. Yeah, yeah. I love basketball. I don't know, man. Like even with basketball, the relationship was like somewhat like similar. Like I started playing it when I was in like grade 3. I got cut from like my grade 7 AAU team, and from there and there on out, like that summer, I just like worked like 6 hours a day at basketball. Lost a bunch of weight, got in good shape, got pretty good at basketball, and like I just like. Did you play any sports growing up?
I play semi-professional badminton right now.
Nice, nice. So like you played it when you were younger too?
Yeah.
I like sorry. I did the thing where like, like you would be training by yourself, you would like imagine the lights and like you would imagine you're like your favorite player. You know what I mean? For me it was like always like a game-winning shot. So I would just like kind of get lost in basketball. And it was also like I love it still, but I think I loved loving it more, if that makes sense. Like I loved like working hard at something. I felt so passionate about like doing the work to be good and then like it paying off and sometimes not paying off and that being completely fine. But I think that's why like there's such a direct correlation between people who may or may not have been extremely successful at a sport, but worked hard at that sport at a younger age to then also becoming somewhat successful in whatever path in life that they choose when they're older. It's like a muscle that you build. Like the training muscle, having to get up early, like working relentlessly or something, like the visualization and the manifestation it takes to like be good at something, like seeing yourself like as bigger than what you are, right? I think that's a lot of entrepreneurship too, right?
100%. And I want to actually ask you, do you think how important is manifestation and have you seen its direct correlation to your life?
You're like, I think Gary Vee said this, but it's like you become great before the world realizes it. So like, and to become great, you actually have to believe it. Like you genuinely have to believe it, especially in something like, for instance, like, I do a lot of like the sales at Dominate Media. Sales at the end of the day is just a transfer of belief. If at the end of the day, you can believe that I can deliver on like the promise that I've given you, there would be no reason why you wouldn't like pay to solve your problem. And at a personal level, like I think anyone who's crazy enough to do business has like a level of just like self-belief that's unreasonable, right? Like why would anyone in their right mind think to themselves with no skills or a lot of people who start out no capital, no following, like know nothing, get into something and think, oh, this is gonna work out like fast or something, right? And obviously it's never fast, but it's just like the self-belief in yourself. Like there's me and my co-founders, my part, like and are like leaders at our company and stuff. Like there is literally nothing on the planet that I think that you could give me that I couldn't figure out how to do. Now, not maybe not like that, but it's just like an attitude, right? I think like manifestation is everything. Like you really have to believe it. And I don't know what that comes from, man. Honestly, I think it's just like daydreaming. You know what I mean? Wanting something more, I guess. Or actually, that's a lie. You know what it is? It's my like it's your information diet. Like I think the biggest switch for me was when I switched the kind of content I was consuming. So I would start listening to podcasts with like millionaires, billionaires. I would um shout out Kate. Like, you know what I mean? Like you see more, right? You see more. You're like, oh, this is possible. Like, why can't I do this? I think that was honestly the biggest shift for my mentality. It was the kind of content I consumed.
Who are the top 5 people that have influenced your mindset currently?
Yeah, like the span of my life.
The span of your life.
And you're talking about like social media personalities or like just general?
Let's go. Maybe it could be your dad. It could be your parents.
Okay. Well, for sure, my
Sure.
dad, 100%. Dude, since I was, I don't know, since I can remember, you just like my work ethic and my level of like drive to be better and provide more and do more, it comes from him. And in terms of like respect and like character as a man, it comes from him. That's like step one. Step two is my cousin who I referred you to. He is his name is Vahid Shababi. He's a killer, like an absolute killer. Like I'm talking about like psychopathic level killer. Like he's like you think of like how like you read about how like Michael Jordan and like Kobe are wired. Like he's wired kind of the same way. Like he will stop at nothing to win. Okay, when you start seeing that and you're like, holy shit, this guy's like hyper successful too. I kind of want that too. You start thinking, okay, maybe I have to like think a little bit different. Maybe I have to be a little bit different. That's like, I think that mentality has a lot to do with it. And then to switch over to like more social media and stuff. But like I said, like Tate came around the time when my life was going downhill. Um, I was shaped doing drugs, like, um, kind of just like not really like living the life I want to live. He was like, take everything he says with a grain of salt. Not 100% of everything he says is to be like taken to heart, but he's like, work hard, get in shape, and work harder, right? Like even at the end of the day, and like be a man and what it is to be a man, and like put that responsibility on yourself. Take accountability for everything. Okay, great. Now I'm taking accountability for everything, and added bonus, this guy's hyper successful. Cool. I see more. And then four, four is a little bit difficult, but if I had to say, um, it would actually be like a podcast, funny enough. It's like have you heard of the Founders podcast?
I've never.
Really? So David Senra, he basically every podcast reads, takes notes, and summarizes the autobiography of one of the greatest founders, yeah, in the history of like, I don't know, existence, whatever you want to call it, right? So it's not that I'm like I'm taking inspiration from him directly or any one of those people, but it's just like the conglomerate of all of them. Like like you listen to that stuff enough, it really starts programming you. Like the way like how meticulous like Steve Jobs was with like the his detail to like focus to detail, for instance, or like how same thing with like Rockefeller. Exactly. Rockefeller is the same thing. And then you see that workhorse mentality from like Michael Jordan, for instance, and like and Elon Musk, for instance. Like those things, you just like you're like it's like your mental programming. So that podcast really, really, really did a lot for me. And then the fifth one, which is a little bit less like intense. Everyone up until now has been like that, is another podcast called My First Million. It's two guys, two founders, two like Wi-Fi money guys. They're in their mid 30s, but they're like their whole spiel is like, what if like your funny friend was like also really good at business. So they just like kind of talk together, and the byproduct of that is they're like super creative with their ideas and the gaps in the market and stuff like that. So I think those five things, like my dad, my cousin, Tate, Daughter's podcast, My First Million, like those five things really did definitely impact me and like set me on the right trajectory. Yeah.
100%. I'm actually gonna check those last two out.
You should. They're amazing. Yeah.
Mhm. But in your story, you mentioned that you made a bunch of money in crypto and then you lost even more.
Yeah.
Was this meme coin and what was it
No,
on?
not meme coins, man. It was like back in the day there was just like I guess it was meme coin. Like what do you count like Dojas and stuff like that, right? So like it was before meme coins, but and it wasn't just crypto. It was also like off of like what was that Reddit community called? Wall Street Bets. Like so like AMC was like a pretty big play for me. It was like back in the day. It's like this movie company. It was kind of like GameStop, but like second, like probably second tier to GameStop. And then I became pretty good at poker too, but most of it was like gambled away, or I would then lose a tremendous amount of money on the crypto, and then I would also be like spending a lot of money on just stupid things like clothes, for instance. And I had like university tuition, rent, and I did not cook or buy groceries for the life of me. So every single day, every meal, and like I was getting fat, right? So I was eating a lot. I would probably spend between 60 to 80 bucks on like Uber Eats. Well, like that adds up, right? So by the end of the 8 to 12 months, not really left with much, right? So then I'm like, okay, like ooh, let's do this again. Yeah.
So how much did you make and how much did you lose? I'm very curious.
Yeah, I made upwards of, and by the time at this, you have to consider like at this point in my life, like I don't know, I hadn't made much money, right? So when I say a lot, what a lot is, it's like 40 to 50 grand, which is a lot. By the way, don't get me wrong, but you also learn that amount of money can go by very quickly with like the wrong habits, the wrong decisions. Like it can go away just as fast as it can come in. Like right now we're like for the business, right? This is productive spending obviously. But for the business, we're spending between like 25 to 30K US a month. That's every single month. I lost like that much over the course of 8 months, or 6 months, sure, but you that also really helped me realize like how hard this money thing is to keep, and be very very calculated about all the decisions and all the investments that we make, and like really making sure that the bottom line of the company is like the highest priority, like maybe like even when it comes to like even cutting out like the minute subscriptions, it's just about like a zero waste mentality. Yeah.
So when you took the position for 2 years with the VC
Yeah,
opportunity,
yeah, it was a yeah, the opportunity was it, the company's name was Career Co. They were a software, um, they were like a SaaS company with a service component as well. And they were small. They were literally like I think 6 people when I joined. By the time I left, it was probably 30 to 40 people, and went from like maybe an $8 million company to like a $30 million company. Yeah. So
B?
yeah. No, 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 not B.
Oh, M.
Million.
And then why did you quit after the 2 years?
In all honesty, man, like I actually like quit twice technically. So I quit once, and then the CEO's like low key, like dude, like pretty valuable. Like why don't you just like stay on as like a consultant, or move to commission based? But like once you're good at like sales or like lead gen, you kind of want commission based, like a higher commission, less based more than anything, because that like there's no cap on your earnings, but you can bring in a lot more money that way. I was like, sure, okay, you're kind of giving me an offer I can't refuse. I'll do it. I'll work on my own time. Um, and consulting is like I always thought like I'm not an employee anymore. Like it's fine. But then like that transitioned into like okay, coming in the office like these hours to these hours, like and just still like treating me as if I was like I don't know, like maybe it's not the right way to put it, but like treating me as if I was like lesser. And then also it would hit me that I would be working like these 10 to 14 hour days for someone else's dreams. And so just the combination of those things, I was like, man, I don't know, I'm just not happy doing this for someone else. Like I believe in myself. I think I can do this for myself, and So I have to take a chance on myself.
100%. Yeah, I think every entrepreneur has that mindset, like
Yeah,
always.
for sure.
But when you kind of reached out to your high school buddy that was successful
Yeah.
back then and you guys started your own venture, can you go from the beginning? Because you haven't explained what it does. The viewers are for sure curious.
Our company?
Yeah, what you
Yeah,
guys do.
man. Yeah. Good question. So we build and scale YouTube channels for high ticket, like info entrepreneurs to generate more leads, attract more clients, and make like acquisition more efficient overall. Yeah. And then that all comes through YouTube.
100%. So how does that work? It's just basically creating the funnels
Cool.
structure.
Yeah, good question. So YouTube, as opposed to like different other social media platforms, is a little bit different. Because it has like it's incentivized to be like a long-term, long-form platform. The You can actually use it as like a marketing funnel, which you can't really do through like Instagram or TikTok, for instance, and it has a higher quality audience. So, like in terms of like the overarching strategy, it's relatively the same for everyone we work with. Now, there are nuances because not every business or expertise is the same, but it's you know what a video sales letter is, a VSL?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It starts if you think of it as like a web, okay, there's three layers. Like there's an outer layer, there's a second layer, and there's a middle layer. The outer layer is viral content. Okay, this is where you're trying to reach new audiences, create a new audience, attract people to you. You're probably going to be talking about more broad topics that would be not like the most valuable thing to like your ICP, but you're bringing in a lot of people, a lot of eyeballs, a lot of attention. That's top of funnel, right? Then we get to the middle of funnel. This is like the nurture content. So, and what this does is after you've brought in the eyeballs, you'll redirect them with like end cards to your nurture or expertise content that qualifies them. Why does it qualify them? Because frankly, like if they're not your ideal customer profile, ICP target customer, they won't even click on the video to begin with. Like they won't be interested. So like if like let's say your ICP is like I don't know, like my ICP. Like if you're like what is it? If you're making 50K a month as like a info entrepreneur, here's how to add another 100K through YouTube. Something like that. That's obviously a horrible title, but like something where they wouldn't even like click on it if they're not the ICP. That like qualifies them within like a YouTube funnel. Not only does it qualify them, you actually solve a very specific problem to that specific person. So you start building a little bit of trust. Okay, you like engaged with them, brought them in at the top of funnel with the viral content. Now you're building a trust, you're solving their problems already. And then from that second layer, which is the nurture content, you get them to the VSL with an end card CTA. The VSL is where you make the pitch, where you make the sale, where you talk about your offer, your case studies, your testimonials, etc., etc. And 70 to 80% of your revenue will come from that one video there. Because in none of the other videos are you actually selling anything. You're just providing value, frankly, or entertaining. And then the VSL is where you do all the selling. That's the strategy. There's like reasons why the strategy is built that way, but like at a high level, that's the strategy.
Yeah, in a nutshell. So in the middle of the funnel, that video, that long form,
Yeah.
you kind of qualify them.
Yeah.
You, I've learned this that you try to provide as much value as possible.
Absolutely. 100%.
And I'm just trying to get at like for your guys, like how do you guys structure and package this value? Like, is there a format you like follow?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. So and this is like from Mr. Beast. Okay. Go to YouTube. Every video starts with the idea first. Okay. From the idea, you mock up the title and the thumbnail. Okay. Then the script, all of that has to simply the hook in the intro, okay, has to affirm the title and the hook. Sorry, the title and the thumbnail. The value portion, okay, now for our clients, is frankly, they're the experts. We're not the experts in what they do. However, we know how to prompt them and guide them with like a series of bullet points or examples on what they should walk through, but how they tell it is up to them because we don't expect us to know more about something that you do than something that you've done for the last 2 years. But we do know how to make sure that we turn the most amount of impressions into views by increasing your click-through rate on your thumbnail and your title, We do know how to keep them there for the first 30 seconds so that what is it? Your retention in the first 30 seconds of the video is more than like 62%, right? Now the value we will prompt you with like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, or whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, it's going to be them who presents the value. Sometimes we'll script it end to end, but most of the time that's kind of what it looks like.
Mm,
Yeah.
100%. So basically, before a video before a video goes out, you already know what it's gonna title, what
Yeah.
the thumbnail is gonna be,
Yeah.
and what the hook and intro is gonna be.
Correct. Yeah. Absolutely. You have to. Like when you post like at least talking head YouTube videos, or actually any YouTube video for that matter, do the title and the thumbnail first. Like obviously you come up with the idea and then you make the title and the thumbnail first. One good framework of like a title and thumbnail, which my co-founder Merrick came up with, is the title is going to be like what this video is, right? So for instance, like, and Mr. Beast does this really, really, really well. You don't think of him as an educational creator, but obviously he's doing something, right? He's the best YouTuber on the planet. So for instance, like how to make your first 100K a month. Okay, like drop shipping. I don't know, whatever. That's what the video is going to be. That's the title. The thumbnail is the dream scenario of that title. So what that means is like if for instance, like the title is how to make your first 100K a month drop shipping, in the thumbnail, like the person may be holding bags of cash, right? Or it might be like drop shipping is what? Like it would be Shopify, like Shopify notifications like all over the screen with like tons of orders and them shocked or something, right? So title is the what the video is, dream outcome is the thumbnail. Yeah.
That's actually a pretty good framework.
Yeah, if you look at Mr. Beast stuff, the title says what the video is going to be about. The thumbnail is going to be the most extreme version of that. So I think he made a video recently or something. I could not quote the title, but it was something along the lines of like, I don't know, win $500,000, something about being dangerous, right? That's the title. The thumbnail is like him burning alive in a fire, right? That's obviously not a realistic scenario, but it's the most extreme version of that. So he does that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically stops people from scrolling and
That's the point. Yeah. And at the end of the day, there's methodologies, there's frameworks, there's like it's a skill as well. The, but that's the only thing that matters. Is can you in a sea of sameness of like the YouTube like explore page get someone to be like, "Huh, I wonder what that is," and click on it. So like it can be what I said, doesn't have to be. I've seen so many examples of what I just said getting where it's like not the dream outcome or anything. It's what I would count is like not the best thumbnail, but it's so different that it stands out that people click it. And that's all that matters, right off the bat. Obviously the idea needs to be good too. Everything starts with the idea, but yeah.
so for curating the idea, is there like a do you have like a whiteboard with like hundreds of ideas you come up with?
We also have like obviously we in 2025 we use a digital whiteboard, but we also have that. But more than that is have you ever heard the saying like it's like everything under the sun has already been done or something like that, right? Realistically, there is videos out there and formats out there that are going to go viral over and over and over and over again, that are going to work over and over and over again. However, they haven't been applied to your industry. So what we do is more research on that. So what are the gaps in the market? What are these formats that are currently or historically have been printing and yielding the right results on YouTube that haven't yet been applied to, for instance, wholesaling, right? So like a video that we did for someone recently was like there was a format that was trending, which was how to start and sell a service in 10 hours. Okay. No one had been doing this in Amazon FBA. So we're like, how to start and sell an Amazon FBA product in 4 hours or something. It was a banger video. But it's that similar kind of concept. You're taking a format that's been like rinsed in one industry that's working really well, and then simply applying it to another industry where that format has not been used. The people who are interested in that category, well, this is a great format for them to engage with. And that video ends up working pretty well.
It's very smart because there is, I'm not sure if you've heard about the stories, two brothers from United States, and they basically took companies from the country that were doing already super well and they copied it in like
Dude,
Europe.
I heard about that actually. That was crazy. And they became billionaires, right?
Oh yeah, they're like 5 billion net worth
Dude,
each.
it's crazy. They literally like I think they would literally just go like see what's happening in Silicon Valley, what companies already like huge and established, and then they would take like eBay and just do it to Europe or something, and then sell it back to that company just per market share. That's crazy. But yeah, it's exactly the same kind of concept. Yeah.
Yeah, why do you want to invent the wheel when it has
Exactly.
already been invented?
No need to reinvent the wheel, for
Exactly.
sure.
So you mentioned also previously that the first 30 seconds of it, you make sure that over 62% are
Yeah, yeah, that's just like a number, but we usually aim for more than like 60% retention within the first 30 seconds.
So do you script that first 30 seconds or
Yes. Yeah.
how do you structure?
We need people to stick on for the first 30 seconds because the data shows that if they get through the first 30 seconds to a minute of the video, the chances are they're gonna make it through a good portion of the rest of the video. If it's like a longer than 10-minute video, we're aiming for more than like 40% retention, maybe 35% retention throughout the whole video. These are just metrics that we've been able to see across the board that will promote your video the best, right? Now, how you actually do it is right off the bat. Let's go back to that video idea of how to make 100K a month drop shipping. Right off the bat, you affirm the title and thumbnail. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about how to make 100K a month drop. You say that. You literally say it right off the bat, okay? People are like, okay, I'm not being clickbaited. Cool. Next part to that is, and Alex Ramosi does this actually, is what we call proof, promise, pain, plan, picture. Okay, it's a little bit of a mouthful, but proof is, and this can be in any order, by the way. It doesn't have to be in proof, promise, pain, plan, picture order, but proof is like what you've done. Like, why are you even like relevant to be talking about this conversation? Okay, if it's the 100K a month drop shipping, is I've made $7 million in the last 2 years drop shipping, right? Pain is the exact pain that like they're feeling. So if you're struggling to like, like make money drop shipping right now, like I'm probably a pretty good person to like listen to, right? Like you address their pain. Promise is what the video is going to entail. And in the next 9 minutes, I'm going to give you the exact 3-step framework or blueprint to make 100K a month drop shipping. Proof, promise, pain, plan. Plan is also, that's like the 3-step part that I mentioned. And picture is like you need, with the proof, like you need pictures, right? Like if you have a Stripe dashboard, show it. If you've gotten like I don't know, a wire for even 5K. It doesn't matter. Any kind of proof. You in front of a car for love. It doesn't matter. Just something to shrink the trust gap because people need to trust that you can solve their problem. That's kind of the framework we follow for the first 30 seconds. I butchered like a lot of what it said. There's a lot of thought and time put into like how we scripted and frankly it's my co-founder Merrick who leads that department, but those first 30 seconds are extremely important for the audience to make it through the rest of the video.
Yeah, I mean, wow, it's actually now that you're mentioning it, so many videos I've watched, followed.
Exactly. Yeah, watch any one of your favorite like educational business creators, and I'd argue that like 75% of the time they follow that framework.
Yeah, exactly. And so at the end, obviously you have a call to action.
Correct? Yeah.
Is there a way you do that call to action? Is it a unique way or like
Yeah, good question. So you remember how I talked about the web, like the outer layer, the viral, the nurture, the BSL game. So first off, it depends on the video, but like in unique cases when it's like a free course video, you're going to be literally putting a CTA to the your landing page in the description after every like chapter of like the module or whatever. If it's a free course video, have you seen those before where it's like 3-4 hours long?
Mhm.
Yeah. Now, for the other 99% of videos, we're following that framework where we call it the nucleus YouTube system. That's what we call it for ourselves. Is for at the end of the video, let's say a viral video, you talk about something, you allude to something a little bit more specific that solves a little bit more of a specific problem, but you just kind of glance over it at the end of the video. And then you say, hey, if you want to learn more about this, click here, which is the end card. We don't actually CTA to like a product or anything. We just simply CTA to an end card to another video, which is the nurture video, which is a video to that small little snippet of what you just said, of like a specific problem that you're solving. that's the easiest way to kind of segue someone from like a viral video to a video that qualifies them as very hyper specific, solve a specific problem so that they can gain your trust or you can gain their trust and then get them to the video sales letter. But the most important thing here, like at the end of the day, to really, really promote your channel is this works under the premise of what we call session duration. It's not a statistic that's talked about much, but the best way that I can put it is like as a consumer, as a viewer, you are more valuable to YouTube the longer you stay on the platform. You see more ads, they get more AdSense revenue, ad dollars, etc., etc. It's the same thing like if you go into a mall, one customer who only visits one shop is going to be way less valuable than a customer who spends 6 hours in a mall. Chances are they're probably going to spend more money, right? They're going to be a more valuable customer. Same thing here. That's what session duration is. And we want to promote that by doing exactly what I talked about. Like you're literally CTAing your own video. So the viewer stays on your channel and binges your content, right? So then YouTube's like, oh shit, like this is a pretty good mall for a customer to be in. Let's like give them a little bit of an organic boost. And that's where you see like impressions just suddenly like go up on every single video that you post because people are just spending so much time with you. And then on top of all of that, after only 8 hours of consuming your content, if like you're an educational business creator, a prospect becomes 100 times more likely to buy from you. So not only are you getting boosted in the algorithm, now someone trusts you so much because they've spent so much time with you, they're literally 100 times more likely to buy whatever you're saying. And I can go on and on about the benefits, obviously, because it's my business, but it's super powerful. And then you get things down the line like, do you know what customer acquisition cost is?
Yeah.
So typically you have to pay to acquire a customer, right? Just how it works. Well, with YouTube, after like 3 to 6 months of posting, you get monetized. Well, technically, you're actually getting paid per viewer that comes in. But a viewer isn't just a viewer, it's a lead if you're making it to make money. A lead eventually turns into a customer. So you're getting paid to acquire customer. So that's why like you see like these bigger creators are definitely making way more money than you think because they're profiting way more. They're making money on every customer that comes in the door. They're not spending money to get those customers like with like paid ads, for instance. And don't get me wrong, I love paid ads. I do it myself, but obviously YouTube's just the most efficient way to do this thing.
I mean, this is crazy.
I can't, dude. I know I've been going on a rant for a minute here, but this is what I love doing. This is what I love
Yeah, I mean, this is a
helping people do.
YouTube video as well. So I've been in the space for over 2 years now. And, I'm very, very interested to even dive deeper. But you said even your viral content is long form in a way.
Yep.
How does that become viral? Because traditionally, if you think about viralities, like short form, I don't know, a lot of noise and the red colors and stuff like that. But how can you format a long form to be viral in a way?
Yeah, it boils honestly, man, like it's really as simple as like seeing what's gone like identifying a format or a gap in the market that's gone viral before and just like doing it again for yourself. It's really as simple as that for like I'd say 99% of people. Now, also like we do have that whiteboard you talked about, right? Because at the end of the day, the whole premise of this format is that people love this idea. Okay, so like, cool, now just apply the idea to yourself. This idea has already gotten millions of views and been a 20x channel outlier on like other channels. It'll probably do the same thing for you, right? Like it's in short form, like you double down just the format of content that's working, same thing, right? Chances are video goes viral once, it's gonna go viral twice.
Let's talk about VSL.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, so you kind of funnel them, and then they're like, okay, I've consumed enough content. I trust this guy. Let's go to the next step. They go on your landing page. You have a video, which is your VSL. So how do you structure that VSL? Because I think that may be the single most important piece of content in this whole pod.
Absolutely, 100%. Listen, there's different ways to do a VSL, right? Like, I think Brez just did one, but his was literally a movie, like a cinematic movie. It wasn't even like a VSL really, but typically you want to start off with like the offer, whatever the offer is, or like why they should want the offer. So, well, okay, the offer is actually going to be the headline on the, if we're talking about a landing page. It's going to be something that directly applies to the ICP and they'd be absurdly interested in. And then you'll talk about like something in terms of like FOMO, like fear of missing out. So you'll say like the biggest creators in the space are doing this, or the biggest entrepreneurs in the space are doing this, or something like that. People are like, oh, what is it? Like just piquing their interest. And then you'll like show some proof and you'll say, I've done this to generate $5 million in MRR for my clients in the last 7 months or something like that. Then you'll segue into their pain. Now, the pain is like people think of like pain as like, oh, you're broke. Okay. That's a very simple way of like describing someone's pain. In copywriting, there is something called like speaking in moments. Describe the moment of pain. Like, it's not that like you're broke. That's just like what it is. That's the situation that you're in. But like, how does it feel when, for instance, like you go to the gas station and you can't afford to fill up your tank all the way? Or how does it feel when you reach into your wallet and there's only loose change? Or how does it feel when you look at your bank account and you see less than like four figures or something? You know what I mean? Like you want to describe the moment of pain, not like being broke. Being broke is the situation. You want to describe the moment. Okay. And if you can, then that's why it's super important to do market research on your target customer, because you try to identify as many of these moments of pain as possible, to the point where you, and it's kind of the same thing with like sales, low key, like when you expand that pain gap and then you come in with the solution. Because frankly, if you can explain someone's problem or situation better than they can, chances are they will trust you. They will trust you to solve that problem. So the biggest thing is just like FOMO proof right off the bat, expand that pain gap, coming with the solution, qualify. Like you need to qualify. Use like, but if you're not making at least 100K a month, with a business or whatever, like BANT qualified, budget authority, need timing, and then you come in with like the value at a high level of what you do, what your product or service entails, and you literally give it away. Like if you're a service business, you kind of give away exactly what you do, but then like people are obviously, convenience is way easier. So like then they would be more prompted to hop on a call with you to actually learn more about what you do and what you can do for them. And then you sell them on like the service because you're the experts and they're not. Anyone can do anything, frankly, right? But people don't pay for not being able to do something. It's for the convenience of not having to, and it being better, right? I think I went on a little bit of a rant there, but the biggest thing is just like you want to expand that pain, show proof, a lot of proof, and basically give the entire thing away for free. Yeah.
Oh, I think that was amazing. I would assume that you've made a lot of revenue off paid ads.
Yeah, we've made quite a bit of money off of paid ads. Funny enough, though, we've made more money off of not paid ads. Yeah, we've made more money off of, and this is only like a recent thing, by the way. So, like, for context, like, we had our best week or best 3 weeks in like our business's history. We added like 22K USD in the last 3 weeks. Before that, it was like paid ads. The issue with paid ads is like we weren't nurturing enough in that process, right? So people would come on cold. Now, instead, we started trying to do like literally like cold outreach. We would do cold outreach for free work, get people to love us. The sales cycle would still be within that week's time frame, which is the same thing that it was with paid ads. But now we don't have to invest ad dollars, and we would just give people a free YouTube video. And now instead of closing at like 25%, in the last 3 weeks, we're probably closing at like an 85% clip, right?
God damn.
So then business, like, sure, we might get less booked calls, but it's so much more efficient, right? And it's so much easier. And like, it's just, that's what worked for us. Before that, don't get me wrong, like paid ads got us to like 50K a month. Okay, paid ads and some referrals. But now we're sitting at like 80K a month, and that's literally from like a month and a half ago, like we grew our business like 60% just off of this newer acquisition channel that we figured out. Now we're figuring out how to scale it.
So the irrefusable offer.
Yes, exactly. It all boils down to that, man.
Exactly. And I think you mastered that with the free YouTube video,
Yeah.
probably a bundle of more stuff. How did you nail down his offer? Like, was there a sequence of steps?
So funny enough, there's two ways. Okay. First off, you have editors, right?
Yeah.
The best way to hire an editor, okay, is see a sample or get them to do a sample of your work. Okay. Well, we're a little bit more extreme version of that. It's same premise. Okay, so if it worked for them, people who are in like third world countries with no proof, who you can't like you don't hop on a call with, who have any like sales ability, marketing ability, any like real big proof like in the Western world and stuff like that. If it works for them, chances are if you're like a more established like agency, it'll work for you too here. That's one. Two, actually, and I don't even know if he still knows, but I think he does. I got one of our top competitors' phone numbers, like the CEO and founder. Like he has a mentorship program, and I cold texted him acting like I was interested in the mentorship program. But obviously I wasn't because he was a competitor. He's not gonna work. He's not gonna help build another competitor. So I just asked him a bunch of questions. I asked him a shit ton of questions as a part of the sales process. I got information that way, and he's like, free work was like the number one way he scaled. So I simply took what he gave me and implemented for ourselves. And 3 weeks later, we had a 22K MRR US.
God damn.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Like that really, really worked. But it just boils down to like, honestly, dude, like I'm thinking about it now. I've probably, obviously, besides mentors, gotten the, and like even more than YouTube videos, gotten the most amount of value from just hopping on like sales calls with, like people. Like, because frankly, you have to think about it as a sale, if you're like a service-based business, that salesperson who's been there for a couple years probably has a pretty good idea of what it takes to win with that service. So I did it with like King Kong, which is like Sabri Subi's agency. Like that's how we learned about funnels. I literally hopped on different sales calls with them, just hammering them with questions, which by the way, in sales, obviously not a good thing. You don't want someone to take the frame away from you. You want to be the one asking the questions, but yeah, man. I think honestly, just hopping on random sales pipelines and using the salesperson or the founder themselves as a resource has been extremely valuable for me. Like it's pretty funny. It's a pretty weird way of getting information, but
No, that definitely worked.
yeah.
Yeah. How do you manage a team effectively? Like, I'm sure your company has many different layers, and how do you build the culture?
Yeah, super important. So we actually just had our like a Q4 meeting. I think at the end of the day, if we're talking broad, like the complete organization, like from the top to the bottom, every person wants to be a part of something. Okay, so like the point of that Q4 meeting is to get everyone bought in on a mission and a vision and like how we're gonna kill it. Right? Everyone wants to be a part of like a winning team, be a part of something bigger than them. I think that's really important to instill, and you have to communicate that from the bottom to the top. But the most important thing is like as founders, we naturally have so much belief in what we do. You probably hear it in my voice, you'll hear it in my co-founders' voices too. But you don't have time, nor should you, to manage everyone. You just don't. Because you need to be focused on like things like distribution, getting money into the business, like growing the brand, like managing, I don't know, like the finances, making the most strategic decisions to grow the business, right? So you need to breed leaders. And this is the most important part. Like I could give the 3 boys at my company or the leaders shout outs all day long. Would not be possible without them. But you need to hire really, really well for the people who are going to be leading the rest of the team. They're going to, at the end of the day, you're going to instill your culture into them and they're going to instill the culture into everyone else. Different ways to do that. Like you can actually give them a cut of the business. Like you can get them on like rev share or equity. But at the end of the day, man, it's like if you really, really believe in what you do, shit's like contagious. So if you just spend a lot of time with your leaders as well, initially right off the bat, if you can afford to, they're going to feed off of that energy a little bit. And they're going to become like mini versions of you. That's really the ideal scenario, in my opinion, because they'll feed it to everybody else. and then everyone naturally just blooms and becomes better. A company is only as good as its people. Like I can't do everything by myself. It would be impossible. Maybe it'll be possible with AI in the future, but not today.
Right. What are the top 5 qualities that you look for in those people that would?
Yeah, yeah, good question. So like in initial foundation, and I'm talking about foundation, like a foundational skill set. So like if they're going to be like an operations manager, some kind of operations like management experience, a little bit, not much. More than anything, it's like attitude. It's not like a killer mentality. Can I give them something and them not be like, I don't know if I can do this, as opposed to being like, done. Like, I'll figure it out. Like, it's good. That mentality doesn't matter how good you are at whatever, like, you will eventually become great. You just will. And then because you believe in that for yourself, you believe everyone else can also be like that. I genuinely believe anyone can do anything that they want to do as long as they work hard and passionate and take the time to educate themselves. So do all of my leaders. So when you instill that into your leaders, they instill into the employees. So I think attitude is like the biggest thing. It really, really is. Everything else, skills can be learned, but like you need someone who has like a killer mentality as a leader as well. Like they almost need to be entrepreneurs within themselves. Like it's like and if they are entrepreneurial, you have to like open up opportunities for them to like be entrepreneurial. Like our head of editing, for instance, is one of our leaders. Well, we're building out like a editing community that we're funding, but she's going to be promoting as a byproduct of the YouTube channel to scale. It's going to be a paid community where editors learn how to begin like an editing agency, right? Okay, well, that's an avenue for the business that not only does it make our recruitment channel profitable, right? Because we need a lot of editors, but it's also an avenue for him to like have skin in the game and something entrepreneurial that he really wants to do. We have another subsidiary company called unlimitedediting.com, which is just like high quality editing service for relatively cheap, $12.49 a month for like people who aren't necessarily qualified for dominant media because it is a little bit more expensive. And our head of operations at Dominate Media is now the managing partner there, like, and he's going to be the CEO of that company one day, right? So it's like you have to give them the opportunities that they want and they're looking for. Like you have to identify their goals and help them achieve it. But a lot of that has to do of like giving those opportunities to the right people who have the right mentality.
When you're creating the price point for your offer,
Yeah.
is there a percentage of profit you're looking at?
Good question. Great question. So, for a little bit of context, this is something that we've like probably only nailed in the last like 7 or 8 months. Funny enough, like it's not like we're new to like making like 40K plus a month. Like we've been doing it for like probably over a year, maybe 2 years now. Thing is, like, there's a saying that revenue is vanity, profit is sanity. We're so bad at being profitable. 1 month, like almost a year ago, we made like 38K in a month, US. Back a lot of money, dude. That's a lot of fucking money. Are you serious? We've lost $3,000 that month. So like we built ourselves out of profitability by like offering the world and stuff. So long story short is like profit actually comes first. Like at the end of the day, the job of a business is to provide a service and value to the economy or marketplace to be able to capture value as well and keep it. If you're not making, if you're not profiting, you're not doing business right, right? You have to figure that out first. And what you want to aim for is 50% net profit, net. So like after everything, after service delivery, after marketing costs, after operations expenses, what's left over is at least 50% net profit of like total revenue. You don't want your service delivery to be more than 30% of your total monthly revenue.
So you're aiming for the 50,
50 for sure.
and now it's dialed.
Now it's more than dialed. Yeah. Yeah. Now we're closer to like 60, 70. Yeah.
Awesome. Another question is, when you chose to get out of university, you were like, okay, I'm gonna take my life back. Did you have to move out right away? Like, what were the backlashes you received?
Yeah. So funny enough, like after my first year, I was pretty like interested in moving out. I ended up moving out, signing a lease, and then COVID hit. So like, okay, well, fuck. Like I just moved out to be closer to university just for me to not go to university. So I was actually already out of the house. That made it slightly easier just because I wasn't with my parents when I had to break the news to them. But I actually don't even think I broke the news to them for like a while. I don't think anyone knew. Like I'm trying to think like I think it had dropped out like for like 6 months before anyone even found out or knew or I told anyone. I was just like doing my own thing. Yeah, but no, I didn't have to move out. I was already moved out at the time to answer the question.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. How can how can that happen? 6 months?
I mean, the thing is, like, it's like they don't really know, right? Like when I was paying for like my own tuition and stuff, like I was going to classes by myself. So no one was really a part of that other than myself. Like maybe my friends would ask, like, oh, like, are you coming? But it's COVID too, like classes are online. So like no one knew. Right? It's pretty easy to slide under the radar. And goddamn, that shit was like a major fear of mine. Like I said, like my grandma was like saying stuff like, "Oh, I hope to see you in a white coat before I pass." Or my all my life, it's crazy. It's like, "Oh, you're born to be a doctor," or something like that. I don't know. It's the now obviously there's so much undeniable proof that like it's hard to argue that like that decision was wrong. Still, I'm sure that there is like parts where like they it's a bit and I don't blame them either. I don't blame anyone that thinks that way. It's like what they were bred to. Like, you know, in Iran, like if you literally don't go to like a university to become one of these positions, like your opportunities are so limited, right? Like you do the concours, that major exam to get into one of these universities, and once you make it, you're like, you're good, right?
Yeah, it's so instilled into the culture.
And it's different here. The world is literally your oyster here. You can There is so many ways to make money. It is ridiculous. The other like a year ago, okay? And now this is might be slightly illegal, okay? But I don't think it's actually not illegal. It's just like borderline, right? I know someone who had an offer where they were brokering heart transplants. Like someone who needed a heart transplants in the state and like facilitating that transaction was somewhere in like I don't know, like a third world country in India, flying them out to facilitate a heart transplant and taking a middleman fee and making a ridiculous amount of money doing so. It wasn't no when I say illegal, it's not actually illegal, but you can understand it's a pretty gray area of what it's not like the most ethical thing of all time. But I'm just saying that to say there's actually so many ways to make money where like this is what we see here, but in those countries you don't see that because it doesn't really exist, right? It's not in front of you. There's no like real like entrepreneurial spirit, like the American Canadian dream, like all that stuff. Here it's like been in front of us since we were kids, especially with social media.
Yeah, exactly. I have this question to ask you, which is what's the end goal?
To the end goal, it's a good question. So, and it's I actually had like recently like a 2 hour conversation with ChatGPT about this, like trying to figure it out. Because first you do it out of necessity, right? Like didn't come from like a lot, right? So you really, really want to be able to first take care of yourself and then take care of your family and take care of your loved ones. So that's necessity. And frankly, I'm still there. But I was worried that once that would be achieved, then I would get comfortable. I was scared. I was like, well, this is like what's driving me right now. Like, what if I lose that thing? So then after this super long conversation, it came to the conclusion that I actually, and this is a super broad definition, and the pieces will fall into place as I grow older, but I just want to be great. That's it. I want to be a like a great husband, a great father, a great son. I want to be great for my community. I want to have an impact. I want to like as a do you know who Charlie Munger is by any
Mhm.
chance? And you know Warren Buffett?
Yeah.
Both of them were great. Okay. Charlie Munger, however, was obviously like probably 50 times less wealthy. He was only $2 billion of net worth or something, while Warren's obviously like 200 billion. I don't know. But Charlie was extremely, extremely adamant and passionate about his family and loved ones as well. He was a huge community man, super, super big on that, on family. Warren Buffett kind of had a broken household. Kids don't really love him that much, or like he doesn't have a great relationship with his kids. He was notoriously known for having like mistresses and stuff like that. I want to be like the version of like I want to be like Charlie Munger instead of Warren Buffett kind of great. Someone who impacts their community. That's the ultimate goal. Now, what that's going to mean, like what that's actually going to be, I don't know. No idea. right? I'm only 24, so I have a long time to figure it out. But that's the ultimate goal. Ultimate goal is greatness. And greatness can only be, you know, when you're being great. If you wake up every day, you do everything that you were supposed to do, and you put your best foot forward, like over the course of 20, 30 years, like you will be great. Now, what greatness is going to look like, who the knows? But you've been great for so long that greatness is inevitable. It's kind of what I want to be.
What are the top 3 advices you've ever heard?
Top 3 pieces of advice that I've ever heard. This one's like not even like, it's not even like really advice, but like it's just like a saying. It's like, why not you? A lot of people like suffer from like a lack of confidence or self-doubt. But one thing that I've been blessed enough to be in like this position is I've also met a lot of people who are pretty hyper successful. They are no different than any one of us. They are just really, really like at something, and they monetized it, right? So when you kind of see that, think like, well, why can't I do this, right? Like, why not you, right? That's the first thing, and then still the self belief. There is a saying. I'm gonna butcher the quote, okay, but it's from Bruce Lee. It's like I think it's something along the lines of the warrior is just like the average man with laser focus. Really, what that means is like people think of like these like great guys as like something completely extraordinary. Like holy shit, these guys are the goats. These guys, they're just regular people who were extremely disciplined and focused, extremely to the utmost extent. That's why they achieved everything that they achieved, right? So like there's no like magic pill or something or like like this thing in their genetics. They were just super focused. Okay? So why not me? Like you have to believe in yourself. Then the laser focus is like, okay, no, if you focus for a long enough period of time, you will eventually get somewhere. Right? And then the third thing is like what I alluded to earlier is like you become great first, the world realizes it after, right? So like who you are today is who you're going to be in the future. You really, really have to try to be there. Like Matthew McConaughey has that like quote of like who's your hero is like me 10 years from now. And like there's that saying of like you what is it? It takes like 6 or 7 years to become an overnight success, right? Like every single day what you do is what makes you great. Now, like if you post a lot on content and like or on social media, it's gonna take a while for people to know who you are, but it's not like you haven't great all that time, right? It's really important that you understand that like you are great before the world realizes it.
How does your day-to-day look like if you can just paint
Yeah.
what you do in a day? Yeah.
Frankly, and like have you heard that joke is like I quit my 9 to 5 job just to and work for myself for 14 hours a day or something.
Yeah.
It's kind of how it is. Usually try to wake up relatively early. And one of my co-founders is fuck it. He wakes up earlier than me. He's honestly a psychopathic killer. He wakes up between the hours like 1 and 3 a.m. Believe it or not, it's crazy. I try to wake up between 4 and 6 a.m. Reason why is same as him, but he's obviously more extreme than I am. Is dude, like just as like a founder, entrepreneur, business owner, anything, frankly, like when the world is awake, you deal with the world's problems. But in that like small gap of time when it's from like 5 a.m. or 4 a.m. to 8 a.m., right? When everyone else is asleep, that's your own time to own. You can work out, do whatever you want to do. You can do deep work and you can work on yourself. It's kind of what I do is I try to wake up then. Then I get hit with meetings, usually until like 2 or 3 p.m. Then I'll go to the gym and then eat something and then I'll have my next deep work session. So my day is kind of split into three. It's like waking up deep, like lock in, meetings for the next like 4 hours. Then I'll like break the pattern by like going doing some exercise and then another like 4 hour like deep work session. That's what most of my day is like. Even when like recently I was telling you like we went to like Whistler with like a bunch of super cool guys. It's all of our days. Like you what you see on social media is for social media, right? Like at the end of the day, it takes real work to like make this thing work. Like being able to buy your time back is a privilege. It can be done and it will be done, of course, right? It has to be. But you start also just kind of like falling in love with like the grind. Like I honestly don't even know or remember what my life's like before just like working a lot, right? Kind of how it is, kind of how every day is. Yeah.
Do you skip breakfast?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
I do for sure. I mean, you fuel up on nicotine and caffeine until about like until like 2 p.m. for me.
Do you have those like patches?
I have pouches recently got I don't have them on me, but it's called Zippix. They're toothpicks. They're like nicotine toothpicks. And just because I noticed that I don't know, I like fucking around with toothpicks in my mouth. I'm like, I wonder if they had this with like nicotine. I got it. It's pretty cool. That works pretty well. So it's that or the gum or the pouches, black coffee. Yeah.
How many cups do you have a day?
I have probably like 4 or 5 espresso shots a day. I do believe, like, listen, and people, I hope, like, they take it for a grain of salt. Like, I think, like, in the long term, I think drugs are horrible. Coming from someone who used to do them, right? But I think stimulants are a great thing because, like, it's just this added, like, little, like, performance boost. Like, to nicotine kind of helps you, like, focus a little bit. Caffeine gives you that little bit of energy. But then it's also really important to understand that, like, your sleep is super important. So you have to cut that. If you sleep like, I don't know, you have to cut that shit off like 6 hours before you sleep. Otherwise, you're gonna be too riled up. Anyway, keep going. But I think like stimulants are extremely powerful for someone who's working a lot, but like more natural stims like caffeine or like nicotine. I'm not talking about anything else. And
For you, no white powder.
yeah, no white powder, no like Adderall, all of that stuff will like do you more harm for 95% of people than it will do good, in my opinion. Yeah. But there's 5% people who need it, frankly. Like, that's the reality of the situation. But I think like I've seen a lot of people taking like things and 95% of them don't need it and would be better off without it. And it serves them worse in the long term than it does them good because of the fact that their mental state to get to a point of norm, they have to take that. So when they don't take it, they're just at this like super, super like low, I guess, I don't know what it is, dopamine state. You can't focus, you're distracted and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, stuff like that, well, it's drugs, right? So drugs are going to affect you physically, like negatively, right? I'm pretty sure like it's like Adderall has like meth in it or something like that. Obviously, cocaine is like fucking cocaine, right? I don't know what that's fucking.
Why are they But yeah, target. How many hours of sleep do you get?
Me, I try to get at least 7 hours, at least, yeah. But that's probably what I average, which is good. So like, I'll never go more than 8 hours. There will be like, frankly, like early before it was way more, but like there will be like rare night, like maybe once a week where I sleep like less than 6 hours, but I really try to get 7 hours at least. That's what I've found that like I need at least. It's especially because I do a lot of sales. I need to be like mentally sharp. I need to like really, really pay attention extremely well to the things that they're saying. If I'm just like doing admin work or something all day, I could probably go off of like 5 or 6 hours. Wouldn't recommend it either way, but like just because of the fact that I need to fucking be dialed in a conversation, like at least 7 hours. Yeah.
And you said recently, I'm just jumping back,
Yeah.
that outbound like acquisition has helped a lot. Which avenues have you found the most success in there?
Yeah. Funny enough, like two things: Instagram DMs and cold calling. It's what's worked for us. Like, and the thing is, like, I think like there's just better acquisition channels for better, like for different business models, right? Like, I think at the end of the day, like, what's going to get our business to like $1 million a month, like, is we're going to have to bring paid ads back into the equation, build prominent personal brands and stuff like that. But I think if you're trying to get to like 100K a month, you can keep it way simpler for way more budget effective and efficient. And you could do stuff like cold calling or cold outreach. Now, the platform you do cold outreach on, whether it be cold email, cold Instagram DMs, or cold LinkedIn, I think that depends on like the business that you're doing. For instance, for us, like high ticket info entrepreneurs, well, there's a lot of people on Instagram who post prominently. I made 70K a month, 50K a month, 60K a month, right? So for us, that's a little bit better. But if your ideal customer profile is a little bit more professional, say they're investors or something like that, like, okay, yeah, you better go to like LinkedIn, right? Or like cold email because the OGs use email a lot, right? I think cold calling works typically for everyone, but it's probably the most difficult one. It's the most brutal one, yeah.
It really is. I'm just trying to get at like how do you approach it? Like, is there a script? I'm sure there's 100% a script you follow, but
Yeah, dude, like I'll be completely real. Like script, sure, yeah, like hey John, how's it going? We're good. Who is this? Oh, funny enough, man, this is actually a cold call. Like, do you have about 30 seconds?
you
Yeah,
say that?
yeah, yeah, I say that. I'm gonna keep it super straight up.
100%.
One thing is a little bit unethical, but one thing that does work really well is like I would literally say that they opted in for our service if it didn't. Because people don't remember what they opted for. But it's unethical, so maybe not for everyone. But the thing about cold calling, man, is you just gotta do it a lot, bro. You just gotta do it, and eventually you get so comfortable. Like they say, like you have to do like 10,000 cold calls just to learn how to do yourself. People are like, my first couple of cold calls, I would call them up, and they would answer and be like, "Hello." I wouldn't speak. I was too nervous, bro. I would just imagine I would do like 100 dials to get like 8 pickups, right? And all 8 pickups, I wouldn't say anything. You just have to do it, and we get better at it. Like with anything, like volume negates luck. You get comfortable, you do it more.
Okay, yeah, okay, yeah. Some tea there. I'm gonna use that. But for Instagram, there's no automation, so I think you have a virtual assistant for that. Is that
Yep.
correct?
Yep. Yeah. They use my Instagram account, and they basically my algorithm is like my ideal customer profile now when I go on the reels. So it's everyone talk. It's like, and kids between the age of like 17 and 35 saying that, hey, I made 68 a month. All of that. It's literally all of my reels. So they literally go scroll through my reels, and if someone and like check out their profile, if they make money and they're good, send them like a template of a DM and just go from there. Yeah.
How does that template work?
Yeah. Mine is super brief. It's like I'll skip the chit chat, name drop our like biggest like name value clients right up front. Like we work with X, Y, and Z and then it's like the offer. So like to build and scale a YouTube channel for their business. I got nothing to sell you though. I'm just offering a free like done for you YouTube video. Something like that. Let me know if you're interested. Then I'm asking your permission. I'm not even like and also what that does is I don't have to do an absurd amount of work because I only do work for people who have engaged with me already and they're already interested, as opposed to doing the work up front, which probably will get you better results in terms of like sending them the idea and the script like to everyone. That's just like way less scalable than just sending a template DM out to like obviously you can only do it to like 150 people per account, but
Yeah, sure. All the founders' accounts are
yeah,
there.
I know, I know. It's just mine right now, but we're definitely gonna move over to my co-founders as well.
Awesome. It's funny, like every question that I ask you, you are just dropping value. At the beginning, there were entrepreneurs that would be like, "Oh, you have to sign an NDA just to see my idea," or whatever the
No,
case is.
yeah, I think it doesn't matter, man. Like, I'm such a huge proponent of like just giving everything away for free because, frankly, like most people won't even do anything with it. Like, realistically, if I'm the one who's giving the value, realistically, I'm far enough ahead to the point where I can keep going, right? And like, it'll be fine. Yeah.
Exactly. Famously, Hormozy made
Exactly.
this so popular.
Exactly. It's completely the same thing. Daniel Iles, if you know him, is like another one. He's like now doing like $5 billion a month with like a short form like content agency. It's crazy, right? He has a YouTube channel where he literally breaks down every single metric of his company and everything that he does, his sales scripts, everything for free, completely. I've gotten so much sauce from him personally because I mean he's short form, I'm long form, sure, but it's like you know what I mean. It's like relatively like similar. Like we built our sales script off of his shit, and it's worked tremendously well. Yeah, man. Like I'm a big proponent of like just like it really doesn't matter. Like I think like frankly, the more value you provide to the marketplace, the more it'll come back to you eventually.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who was this guy again?
Daniel Iles.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Little name drop there.
Yeah.
What challenges you?
What challenges me? You know, I think at the end of the day, all of us are human. We're not machines. So to do the same thing every single day consistently is not easy every day. And it's what it takes. It's literally what it takes. You have to wake up and do the same thing, more or less, 10, 12 hours a day You might love it, but it's hard work, dude. Sometimes you just want to go see your friends. Sometimes you want to go see your family. Sometimes you want to go just chill. Like, but then you have to remind yourself, like, why are you doing this? And you have to lock in. And and you have just know it's better to have like a shitty day of work than to not work at all, right? It's better to have a shitty workout than to not work out at all, right? So like the hardest part is definitely just like stay consistently high volume for sure. But at the end of the day, at the same time, like one bad day or like one day off, very rarely, like I don't think you should be too hard on yourself because just one day, just don't make a habit out of it. So don't do it for 2 days in a row. I think that's the most difficult part. And on and at a higher level, it's that like I genuinely do want to help a lot of people. I really, really do. Right. I'm not in a position to be able to do that. And that pains me every day. So that's like a level of motivation to be able to like that challenges me.
And lastly, what do you think is the meaning of life?
You know, it's like such an insane question, right? Like it's a crazy big question. It's so difficult to answer. And I don't like I really, 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 really believe it's boils down to just like doing what you want on your own terms. And but like the component of that, of course, is like working hard and learning a lot because like in the grand scheme of things we're like what like a speck of dust and like a hole of nothing, like you know what I mean, like a universe of nothingness. Like nothing you really do in like the history of humanity is realistically going to matter, probably realistically, even if you're absurdly famous like 3 generations from now, no one's going to remember you. Like probably they might refer to you or allude to you, but no one's gonna know you or remember like your likeness. So like this like life thing is so short and so precious that you just have to make the most of it. Like figure out something that you want to do that you're passionate about. Just work hard at it, right? And do what you want to do though. I think that's really important because I think so many people do incredible jobs at things that they hate, at lives that they don't want to live. So, like, imagine what they would be able to do if they actually did love, like, what they did every day and work incredibly hard at it. I think it's really important that everyone does what they want to do and that what gives them meaning.
Danielle, it was fantastic.
Appreciate you, Will. Dude, that was fire.
And I wish you all the best
Thanks,
in
man.
your future endeavors.
Absolute, bro. Absolutely. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.
Peace.